this is a politician's dream, you got to admit. Standing at the top of this this pedestal here, and then I've got a little step underneath to get even higher. So obviously I want to express appreciation to Cecil B. DeMille for organizing this event this morning. This does categorize or classify as being over the top. But I want to say thank you first to Lieutenant Governor Carrie Healy for her introduction this morning, very generous, and also for her work and collaboration and counsel on this very important bill. This is an extraordinary sight, not just because I'm way up here in the air, but because I look around at the people in this room. What makes it unusual is not just how many people are here for a bill signing, but who is here for a bill signing. Doctors and nurses, administrators, insurers, healthcare providers, citizens, advocates, partisans on both sides of the divide, business groups, community groups. It's just a remarkable collection. Federal, state officers, local officers. To see everybody here in one place is really quite amazing, because you represent every institution in the Commonwealth that seems to touch healthcare in any way. And Massachusetts healthcare institutions, in the broadest sense, and their leaders, and their people are probably the most respected in the entire world. All of you will be part of making certain that this initiative helps our citizens, helps our healthcare system, and helps our Commonwealth. I want to thank the many, many people in this room who were critical to crafting and coaxing the bold healthcare initiative that I'm about to sign. There are a lot of parents to this initiative, as you know. I'm going to mention a few by name and just a tiny part of their contributions. First, let's not forget United States Health and Human Services Secretaries Tommy Thompson and Michael Levitt, and their dedicated and cooperative staff, including CMS Director Dennis Smith, who's here today. They authorized the $385 million times 3 years, without which this bill could not possibly have happened. Senator Kennedy. Together we pitched the secretaries on our vision to insure all our citizens and on the need for federal support to make the vision real. His work in Washington and behind the scenes on Beacon Hill was absolutely essential. Of course, the last time I was on this stage with Senator Kennedy, this for me feels a bit like the Titanic returning to visit the iceberg. But President Travellini was the first to make the expansion of health insurance a legislative priority. He put the ball in play and pushed it along when there wasn't much movement. He brought essential reforms to our insurance laws and insisted that information about the cost and quality of health care be provided to all of our consumers. And he made sure that our providers, and particularly those who care for the poor, were themselves kept healthy and strong. Speaker DeMacy endorsed the individual mandate and the connector, providing key elements to our health insurance plan to get everyone insured. He insisted that Medicare rate increases be tied to improving quality and efficiencies. He introduced needed reforms to the uncompensated care pool, assuring the integrity and solvency of this final layer of our healthcare safety net. Let me mention as well the legislators and staff who worked with the President and the Speaker. Names like Murray, Lees, Moore, Walrath, Mariano, and Hargraves may not be as familiar as ours sitting here on the very front row, but their work was every bit as dedicated and valuable. There were contributors from outside government, as you know. Jonathan Gruber at MIT devoted hours and hours to an essential econometric model. Alden Bianchi of Mintz Levin provided invaluable legal advice to navigate federal and state waters. Actuaries and professionals at health insurers collaborated voluntarily on the analysis, and their executives helped architect and troubleshoot. And special thanks as well to the Heritage Foundation. Two of its leading scholars, are the ones who helped design and craft what we now call the connector, which is the centerpiece of the insurance reform portion. We'll hear from one of them, Dr. Bob Moffett, at the end of this program. In particular, I want to thank two people who worked very closely with me and my team, Secretary Tim Murphy and Cindy Gillespie. Secretary Murphy was the lead analytical mind, the problem solver, the honest broker, and in many respects, the author of the bill I filed. Cindy Gillespie is who kept the dream from vanishing. Over the last 3 years, internal obstacles and bureaucratic molasses threatened the whole enterprise. In Washington and in Boston, she found new approaches, new alliances, and new avenues to do what seemed impossible. Cindy and Secretary Murphy were supported by other key members of the administration, like Secretary Tom Tremarco and Deputy Director Brian Whelan. What's remarkable to me is that such a disparate group of people could come together on a workable consensus. My son said that having Senator Kennedy and me together like this on this stage behind the same piece of landmark legislation will help slow global warming. That's because hell is frozen over. Of course, the bill isn't 100% of what anyone in the room would want. But the differences between us are relatively small. While it's noteworthy, or what is noteworthy, is the uncharacteristic collaboration of so many individuals and groups and partisans. And how did that happen? I think it's because of what this bill can lead to. Every citizen with affordable, comprehensive health insurance. Small businesses able to conveniently buy insurance for their employees at a cost that's competitive with big businesses. Medical transparency, bringing marketplace dynamics to healthcare, really for the first time. And finally, beginning to rein in healthcare inflation. Of course, there's a lot of work ahead, and there are no guarantees that when you set off on such a bold path, everything will work out exactly as planned. But Massachusetts, once again, is taking a giant leap forward. And it's our faith in you that gives us the confidence to do just that. Thank you so much. It's now my pleasure to introduce my collaborator and friend, Senator Edward Kennedy. Senator.